It's time for the Toffee TV Podcast. Insert loads of screaming fans. It's me, Ped, Baz and Andy, the Piv, El Piv. Granddad's dead. He's dead proud of you, Granddad, isn't he?
Granddad?
Yeah, he said before you,
My
Granddad.
granddad. Was my dad's.
Dad?
Yeah, my dad's dead proud.
Sorry, I was getting confused with Joe. So my granddad. Sorry.
Joe's got a few
No, my dad
granddads
is proud of me for once. Usually just thinks I'm a divvy, but yeah, he's on Twitter. Don't no one follow him though.
What's his name?
No.
At El Pavotti FTBL, Dad.
El Pavotti Senior.
Dad of the Piv.
Yeah.
That should be it. Dad of the Piv.
Yeah, he is. He's sad. He's a Liverpool fan though.
Is he?
Yeah. Oh. He used to work on a Saturday though. He used to work for Aston Warrington, and he worked for Saturday. My uncles with Dar Blues took me the match, and here I am.
It's his own fault for working.
Yeah. Don't provide for us. Don't provide for your families.
Yeah.
Take them the match.
Exactly. Provide for your family, and then then expect them to follow you.
Well, yeah.
So dropped the bomb there, Annie.
And people know that we are for the sports
I
Liverpool.
forgot. You told me.
I know. I've told people on Twitter as well. There's one of those things. He's to be fair, he does watch Everton games. He's quite sound about it. So.
Oh, they're the worst, Reds.
Yeah.
Condescending.
They're the ones patting you on the head.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just conversation.
Well, he's your dad, isn't he? So at the end of the day.
There you go, Dad. So there's just 5 minutes of fame.
There's your 5 minutes of fame.
Didn't vote Brexit as well, did he?
I'm not going to get into it. I had an argument with him that over last week.
Don't ruin people.
Don't honestly, don't.
It's not the granddad show.
And then he punched me in the car last week because I was calling him Tony. Let's not get into it. He's not like, but...
Just vote like one.
I mean, have you had any granddads calling you out on Facebook, anything like that?
No, not
Range
recently.
Rovers or anything?
No, sadly no.
Fair play.
Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Saturday's game. Manchester City at home. Bit of a free game, really, wasn't it? In terms of the results. No one ever expected us to win, and we didn't let anyone down. We didn't let anyone down because we didn't win.
We are the non-apple cart upsetters of football. Most times. We're great at not winning games when everyone goes, we haven't got a chance against Everton because they haven't lost for it and we'll lose. But we never go somewhere or bloody someone's nose when it's not expected. I don't think, anyway.
No.
We don't do it.
We said last week, didn't we, that it was like, as Ped said, it's a free hit. We'll probably look better because they'll give us space. That happened. We probably lose, which it happened as well. So, yeah, I'm not saying, I thought there was a bit more fight, but the City let you play, don't they?
To be fair, though, Ederson's had to make 3 brilliant saves to keep them in the game.
8 shots on target. Yeah. The XG was probably the highest Man City have had against them, in the last, since Pep come on, I think. I think that's the most shots they've conceded since 2014 under Manuel Pellegrini. So so that says something that we they give us the space. We did expose in some ways, but
what did you make of in a press conference on Friday? A reporter said that no team since the beginning of last season has created more chances than Everton.
Didn't he say they hadn't had as many shots on target? Didn't he say
Everton have created the most chances since the beginning of the 2018-19 season?
I'd have to look that.
17-18. No, 18-19.
We might be including set plays because most of ours were set plays last season, and it did boost us up quite. It was substantial. We were like 11th, 12th in terms of open play chances last season. Potentially, because we do create a lot of how many times a game does Mina or King get their head on the ball at least, off a corner or free kick. So maybe in terms of actual big chances, no, we were 7th or 8th.
When we watch them, it doesn't feel like we. It
depends what you consider a chance, though, because chances could be just a shot from distance. It depends really. Yeah. It's how you measure chances. XG, we improved actually because of the City game. I think we're up to like 8th or 9th now in terms of XG. Expected goals, so it did help us sort of, but obviously, they were much better on Saturday. But we just need to see something different, really, and that's Everton. People blame a striker. I think I heard you say that on Monday that we need a striker. Yes, maybe we do need a more experienced striker, but that's not part of the plan, and it's not going to happen. I don't think. I think there was a story about Rafa Leao turning Everton down in the summer, wasn't there? He's not really experienced, of course, but. I don't know. I just don't see us bringing in a Dzeko or a...
No, but I do think a lot of the problems would go away if you can build slower if you've got someone putting the ball in the back of the net. It's one of the great, like, sort of mistakes of the Martinez era, and it continued in the Koeman era. You've got a striker like Lukaku scoring 20-25 goals a season, and you're not making the team better. That's criminal. You know what I mean? Like you look at that's what I feel for Silva. Silva coming to the club and he's got no real goal scorer. Whereas not the two previous managers before Allardyce, you've got two managers who had a goal scorer, and because they had a goal scorer, didn't actually bother to try and improve the team. And that's the mad sort of flip side of it, isn't it? You know, I do feel for Silva that he is trying to build something.
It's negligence.
It is. Well, what Martinez did is completely negligent.
Martinez had Lukaku.
It's a guard jail-free card, wasn't it?
Yeah, really? But he had him for his whole tenure. So no matter what it meant was he could, after the first season, which we know was the hybrid with Moyes' defence and Martinez' attack, after that first season, he basically mismanaged Everton incredibly, but got us out of jail.
How many times would the David Moyes get to spend 13 million on the ass? You know what I mean? He didn't really get, and that's the story of Martinez's reign. He made bad decisions with players coming in at crucial times, really, because realistically, after that first summer window, it was downhill, wasn't it? Really?
Everyone else he bought after that wasn't great, and Koeman done the same.
Yeah, first season
came in, told us he was going to do one thing, then realised, actually, you know what, I'm not going to have to do anything because that lad up front will just get me out of trouble. Yeah,
play golf and go to Strokes.
Yeah,
get my brother to do training while I'm away.
Yeah.
Well, he was always on a golf course or knocking around.
International weekend.
He didn't even come home to do his press conference. He was in Spain, wasn't he?
I mean, that should have been the alarm bells, shouldn't it?
I think there was alarm bells.
No, but I think that's the point. So I'm saying with Silva, he's finding it much harder to build a team when you haven't got someone to put back in the net. Look at Brendan Rodgers at Leicester. He's going to have all the time in the world while Vardy's scoring goals. You know, you can. He's the front of house, isn't he? While everything's getting tinkered in the background.
Do you think he's using the strikers we've got now well, though? That's I agree 100% what you say, but there's a flip side to
I don't think he's actually using Dominic Calvert-Lewin's strengths at all,
no,
and that's what surprises me. Saturday's game, there was times against City where you could see Dom always has his best games against City.
Because the centre backs don't play like that.
No, but Dom fancies City. You can see it from the first time he played against them. When we went to the Etihad, and he legged Company all over the gaff. In the end, Company just ended up kicking him all over the place. He fancies he scored against them last season away from home. He fancies playing him, and you could see that on Saturday. And we stopped going long to him, either over the top or to his head. There wasn't enough of that.
That's the problem with Everton, though, in a nutshell, in a sense, because against Man City, you can do that. Against Burnley, we're not going to be able to do that. And because instead against Burnley, we go, wait, we need to control the game, so we're going to play it slow around the back. And Dom's basically going to have then 4 defenders around them all the time. It's not going to work. So this is where the balance of play needs to come. And you need to decide what is the style, what is the system that gets the best out of what I got. And if you're going to play Moise Keane, you can't play the same way as we got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But at the moment, this is our system. You just slot in and you don't fit it. That's the problem at Everton at the moment. And
do you fully lay the blame at the manager?
I'd say more now. I'm saying 70% with the manager, but the question still arises: are the players doing enough in certain cases? Because some players don't seem to be that bothered. They go through the motions in certain games, and I don't know. There must be a reason why either the manager's not inspiring them or they can never come back. It's because either they just give up and go, "Oh, we're not expected to come back anyway."
I think, to answer your question, you've got to look at what he's got available to him, and I still think he's got enough available to him to change that side, and that's where some of the blame has to shift to the manager. Like if you're going to look at it and go, well, I know Saturday's game is different because I know players were ill, and it's different but I don't know whether it'll be this Saturday, which obviously we'll talk about in a bit, or whether it'll be after the international weekend if it makes that far. But I'll start looking at that now and going, I've got to start making some tough decisions. And if players aren't in his plans for the future, then you might as well start bedding that in now. And you might... Because what's interesting about that conversation we've just been having there, you're talking about Moise Keane and you're talking about Dom. And then you've got Bernard and you've got Richarlison, right? Well, if you played 4-3-3, you can play 3 of that 4 every single week, really, if you want to. Moise Keane off the right or the left, Richarlison off the right or the left, and Dom through the centre. Or Bernard off the left, whatever you want to do, and you say, right, we want to play Iwobi central, and then you've got Delph, you've got Sneijderlin, and you've got Tom Davies, and you've got Sigurdsson. But I think you've got to make that choice and say, well, actually, instead of saying, like you've just said there, well, we're playing this style, so we've got to drop John, or we're playing that style, and we've got to drop Keane. That should never come into a manager. The manager shouldn't be looking at this week and going, right, I've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring goals, but I've got to drop him because the style we play suits Burnley or whatever. You know, it's stupid. You've got 3 or 4 good players there up front. Start using them all and make your midfield more compact.
This is where I don't get it though, because when your manager comes to a club, they're supposed to imprint their style and their ideas on the club. You know, you look at Pep, right? What he did is he go, right, I haven't got the fullbacks. We didn't do well. He finished fourth. When we get the fullbacks, the 8 players who are going to stay in this team from last season are already up to speed on what I want to play like. And then you build it that way. You don't go, I've got to wait till Gabam and Gomez are back until I change the team. You can't wait that long.
I don't know whether you watched the final.
I did, yeah.
Cheers, hand.
Nice one. So you will have heard me saying, we started last season reasonably. I thought we were okay. We were okay. We were good enough that people were asking Jose Mourinho if Everton were going to finish above United in December. Obviously, Pickford threw that one in at Anfield. Everything went askew for 3 months, but I think the manager really lost his confidence in that time. I really do. And then we came back strong then the last 10 weeks, and it looked to me like that was what he wanted to play. We were very much on the counter-attack. We were breaking quickly. We were beating teams comfortably, which we did. But it seems to me like we then got to the summer, and to say like what you just said about Pep, we got to the summer and almost went, forget all that was good. We've got these new players now, we're going to start afresh again. And now, this team looks like it was 12 months ago. This is like, remember saying this with Koeman, actually.
Yeah, because
it's almost like this is the first part of his tenure again.
This is why when people go, he needs time, you go, all right, yeah, he does need time, but when you've got, by now you should be seeing what maybe not 100% of what it is, but the plan is. And again, we'll get on to, we're going to put the under-23s in the next section, but it's supposed to go right throughout the club. There's supposed to be an imprinted style. When Klopp come in, Liverpool's teams below it play Klopp's way. Pep, they actually they've been playing the Pep way since before Pep got there, because they always knew he was coming. But they've established what their system is going to be in the youth academy. So every player, like when Man City played Preston, Eric Garcia, ex-Barcelona, could just go to the centre-back and goes, I know exactly how to play in this team because I play in this every single week for another team. Everton haven't got that. You've got David Unsworth playing. I'm not saying that. And David Unsworth's got his own agenda, I suppose, in a sense, because he wants to be a manager. But there should be a unified system in the club. And I can't even name what the first teams is, never mind what the under-23s are doing. And Marco Silva, obviously, is in a situation though where he probably thinks, I can't afford to get sacked again, because he does do things with fear, because that's why you see Theo Walcott all the time, experience over time, and that's why you don't see Tom Davies, because he's scared of allowing people who could make mistakes in games and who are not consistent all the time, and he won't play them players. That's why Moise Keane's probably going to be on the bench till at least Christmas, probably in and out, because he won't take them risks, and I understand that.
You appreciate some of that, but I think we've got enough senior players now to just say, well, actually, you've got 5 centre midfielders, you can go into 3. Exactly, you've got four players who could go into 3 up front. You've got all. Get them ready until when them players come back, step into the system already. That's what you should. You've got enough energy in midfield with Tom Davies and Iwobi to cope with. You just got to start coaching them into playing that way. There's plenty in there. I can't see how it would be any different from what we're playing at the moment, which just completely stops us going forward against average teams, and that's the problem, isn't it? When you've got no one breaking from midfield, your players are starting further back up the pitch when you're breaking, and listen, we're getting away from but it comes to Saturday though, because you watch a team like Pep and the way they attack, and we played a bit of a low block because obviously that's smart to do against City, but the way they move, as Pep said, disciple of a coach called Manuel Milio, and he said, you don't move the ball, you move the players by using the ball correctly. And Everton don't move anyone. They just it's basically the centre backs play in one zone, the midfield 2 play in the other. The left back and the right back stay wide, and then slight movement. It's just too rigid. You couldn't say any Everton players are Maverick because they just all play to like one tune.
I watched Saturday. I was talking to the lad who sits next to me, and I was saying, just look at these in the opening half an hour. Even when we went to 1-1, I was saying, look at the way they move on us around the pitch, because they're moving the ball so quickly, and each person's moving, and they're like having their own. I remember the Barcelona model under Pep was to have as many five-a-side games as possible on the pitch, small-sided games, so they play within fours and fours and fours.
That's how they do rondos
and
all the
City
time,
do it, Where when we played the week before, and it was a really good comparison for me, because the week before we were the Man City against Everton, in that Sheffield United game, and everything we did was slow, like you said, it was zones. You can almost go, right, that's your area, and you could I might do this on the tacti pad actually, and when me and you do some stuff about shaded areas, because Everton's players don't move out of them.
No.
So Mina and Keane are now becoming Jagielka and Distan under Martinez, where they have 100 passes between each other. The two centre midfield players are just sitting directly in front of them, and then there's that gap of 30 yards where City almost played 7 men on the edge of.
And if they don't move, if our players don't move, why would the opposition move? And that's the ultimate thing, isn't it? The ultimate thing is to create space. It's to create. You look at the first goal, the way the way De Bruyne throws it in, and the way they've managed to get 2-on-2 at the back post and overloaded us. And I watched the way the full-back stayed right up the pitch, the way they made us go narrow and then use the space on the outside, by flooding the areas. I watched Man City in the Champions League last night, and when they scored, they didn't score like the 65th minute, didn't they? And it was like they were knocking on the door, and I was listening. I think Don Hutchinson was doing the game, and he said, they're knocking, but they're not changing. They're just going to keep playing. And when they did score, it was a Sterling tap-in. But there was 4 players in the 6-yard box, all there for it, because they'd all gone like that. It brought all the opposition defenders into the middle of the park and allowed all that space on the outside. And that's the problem with Everton, is that we put all those crosses in the box like the week before, and we have 2 players in the box. We don't have
stand there though,
and they just stand there. And we don't have any. But even if they just stood there, if you've got 4 and they're all in a line, you've got a better chance of someone just knocking it in, haven't you?
There's an option of it breaking,
but the move to get the cross, it's always either deep or because Dini's having to clear 2 men because they don't work. When was the last time Richarlison, when he cut the ball back for Dom against Bournemouth? How often do we get to the byline?
The point being, if you go back to Saturday and you look at Seamus Coleman in the second half when he had that chance to put it in, right, and Sterling come and took it off him and knocked out for a corner, right? Seamus Coleman doesn't stop there, right? Or if he's got 4 men in the 6-yard box, they've made his mind up for him. He doesn't have to look up and he doesn't have to pick a pass. He just puts it across the 6-yard box. And if it misses the first one, if it misses the second one, if it misses the third one, you've still got the one at the back post. How many times has Sterling got tap-ins at the far post by doing that? That's the problem. And so you're looking at Seamus Coleman there, and it's fine to go, well, he shouldn't have slowed down or he shouldn't have done this. But instinctively, if he knows there's 4 players in the box, he just knocks that across.
You always say, like when I was playing and you play with wingers, I'd always say to them, just throw it across. When you get the chance, throw it. And I know you're putting it there. I will always make that run in there. And then someone should be coming in behind.
And work it forward again.
You're absolutely right that they should have made his mind up for him. But I think what Everton and what Silva should be saying to Coleman is, when you get that half a yard, forget who's in there. Put the ball across that 6-yard box, right? If it's cleared, or you throw it in and no one's in there, that's their responsibility.
But then it also sets the pattern for the rest of the game, because then people are going to start gambling then if you're getting balls at that.
And they're going to be panicking.
The issue with that is, and this is the entire issue, is how often do we do things quickly or make snap decisions? It's always, because by the time the ball goes out to Coleman, we've slow played down to the point where they're all back in position.
I seen it Saturday, twice we broke at pace.
Yeah.
And then we stopped and turned round and recycled it again. And you looked and everyone was back. Place,
and
you were like, that's gone now. The one when Seamus went round 4 men, switched it wide, and you were like, come on, attack. And we got it, we stopped.
But the problem, and that's why, you just literally answered the question here, that's why, is because if Dean gets it on the left and he looks up, he's never just going to throw a ball in the box because he knows no one's breaking into the box. He knows a Sigurdsson's not breaking into the box.
Area.
He knows... He knows that Richarlison's not going to be up there.
Even if Dom's in there, it doesn't matter.
But Richarlison's the only one who makes late runs, isn't he? Because Dom's always already in the box, isn't he? And we've discussed this movements in the past. This is the whole issue, though, and this is why when people go, it's the players, to me, I watch Pep. I love Pep, and I watch all his videos, training videos. This is the work that gets put on the training pitch. They do rondos, which is trying to small-sided games, patterns of play to try and break teams down. You watch Man City display or Barcelona, they do the same types of patterns of play, and it's inbred into the players, so they know exactly what to do and we don't. Yeah. We do the same thing over and over again.
And you know what? There might be a lot of people listening who'll be like, "Why are you comparing this to Man City?" But the thing about it is, if you don't try and emulate the people at the top, what's the point? I mean, you're trying to emulate the people at the top. If you drop off, well then, you know, the drop-off might only be a little bit minor. Like Neville Southall used to always say,
you don't have to replicate Man City. You just have to understand what makes them work. And we're not saying we can play them because we can't play them. But you look at the movements and go, if we had movement like that off the ball, then we'd create more chances, which we don't.
Against teams who were inferior.
One dead simple thing I took from Saturday's game was, if you push more men forward, that creates more. If you say to their full-backs, you're going to have to tuck in because they've got 3 men coming through the middle of the park, then suddenly Luca Dean does get acres of space, and if you can find them, and I think in Mina and Keane, actually, we've got a couple of ways who can play those raking passes over the top. On the other side, whether it be Seamus Coleman or Richarlison, you've suddenly got players open that way and because you have got those 3 men or 4 men running through the middle of the park, all they have to do then is whip a ball in, like we've just said, and there's a bigger chance of scoring. And all it comes down is confidence in your own team to get up and down the pitch.
Also, and it is players, and I'll tell you why it's players. The manager picks the players, but it's the style of player he's picking. But they've still got a responsibility to do that. Fabian Delph, I thought had a good game at the weekend, thought he was good. But he knows Schneidlin's protecting. He should be making it his responsibility to get on the edge of the box. No, he should. And
I'm not going to disagree. I'm just going to say, what's the instruction? This is what we do. This is where we do.
I agree. I don't care. I can't
Players
remember.
Do, though.
I can't remember ever following a manager's instructions when the ball was coming in the box. Oh, he told me to take a touch and play it. Right, nah, the goal's there. I
understand in the box. It's the midfield. I'm talking about midfield. Because he's under strict instruction to stay back because he doesn't want to break on them.
We don't know that.
He will.
I think Marco's pretty safe as a coach. He's instructing them to be
safe. You're picking those plays in the first place. You're safe, aren't you?
Well,
and I'm not arguing.
You have to make up of the team's wrong. And I've said it a million times. The midfield is the issue. People can blame Dom. And I can be critical of Dom, and he missed the sitter at the weekend. If that was Aubameyang, it was 2-2. Or if it was Salah or Mane, or it was 2-2. 1-on-1 with Ederson. Doesn't matter whether it's a good save. He should have clicked it over, and Coleman did. Showed how you beat him. That's how you do it. He should have scored. However, he had a good game, and he put himself up and he scored a goal. Dom isn't always the issue. Richarlison isn't. People have a go at Richarlison. To give him how many does he miss, Richarlison? Really? Does he miss 5 sitters? No, because he never gets 5 in a game.
But you can't blame Richarlison when he's been playing in a role that he doesn't suit him. That's
what I'm saying. So the midfield is the key. I know the manager picks the midfield. He does. But that to me is the key area. Without legs in a Premier League that is about being able to run up, and it's about ballistic football. It's about being able to go. I sent you the one with Atletico Madrid last night. They've got their sprinting to get it. Everton don't.
Desire as well, though, isn't it?
City too as well. You watch City. And it's Sterling is attacker who's coming back to try and get it, because they go right back into their formation.
But Richarlison runs and gets back.
He's got more, didn't he? He's got something like 5th or 6th in the tackles for the season.
He's been fantastic this season.
I mean, this argument's more prevalent for the week before against Sheffield United. Sneijden should have been nowhere near the team, and you're right, Dan. It's about being safe. Whatever anyone thinks of Tom Davies should be starting these kind of games for me, or certainly Sheffield United games, ahead of Sneijden.
Yeah, true.
Because 100%. He can go both ways. And people might be like,
passes the ball forward.
You've got it.
A big thing.
But I would, if he had like a 75% passing ratio, but he was actually creating chances because he's put. That's what you want. You can't have.
I don't care
because I don't want
if he's got a 60%.
I don't want this.
Creating chances.
I don't want a crab in midfield. Sneijden's a crab. That great against City because he just sits in and does his job right. You don't need crabs against teams like that. You need people who are progressive, not crabs.
But on the flip side, before we move on from this game, there was more heart. We had chances, like we said right at the very start, and their keeper has had to make 3 great saves.
Yeah,
he did. He really did. Yeah. And either, the header from Mina is a brilliant save, and he just Dom can't get his foot around it. And the one that he saved at 1-1 from Mina, Mina's not expecting it. It missed on it, but it's still a good header. Either side, it's a goal. Yeah. It's a goal, and it's just those little things that aren't running.
We've got to keep going with that, though, haven't we? Mina's always got to be the target. If you've got something that works, you've got to just keep going till it will come off. And then the confidence.
Once he gets one in, he'll get 4 or 5. Yeah,
definitely. So that was a positive, because listen, we walked out the ground the week before, and we were all at our chins on the floor. I think, and it was a bit like, what's just happened? How has that happened when we thought them days were over? Saturday wasn't like that. They're for me still the best footballing team in the Premier League. Liverpool are strong and have got great threat and all that, but City has a pure footballing team. They're brilliant.
They believe in it, though.
Teams turn up against City.
They believe it. That's a very good point. They believe in it, though. That's the difference. I mean, City believe in what they're doing. You can see it all day. And I go back to saying about the Champions League game. Watching a little bit of it on the goal show on BT, and it's just a belief. 65 minutes in, and just go. You just keep doing what they're doing, and there's nothing's going to change.
Would we be criticised for that?
Which?
For doing what we do. So say
not if it was successful.
Say our game plan is, which it quite clearly is.
It's pressure, though,
throw crosses in. We sometimes would go, "Where's Plan B?" Don't you? Because you hear that, don't you? We've got no Plan B.
They do play two different ways.
They play during the game.
What City used to have is Dzeko off the bench, which was an X factor, which they don't have now. So they do have to play one way, but I don't know if you're that good at something.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a totally different thing.
I understand.
It's a team that
the problem with crossing so much
because they do it so well. So that's what you'd have to say.
You get players in the box, the full-backs get in the box. I'd be surprised apart from Dean never gets hardly in the box, does he? Because he's never hits the byline because he's always crossing it from deep. Coleman, yeah.
Well, again, that's runners, isn't it?
Well, the options exactly. If you got Sigurdsson shouldn't be the man on the edge of the Tom Davies.
How many goals do you see, particularly at the Etihad, where Sterling or Aguero is at the back post and they're literally they're a foot off the line.
The ball rolls across the 6-yard box. They just put it right across. There's three of them waiting for it.
But that's because when they get into those areas, right? A, they gamble and plays, but B, they're not hesitating, stopping and waiting for shape. Yeah. They're getting the 1-2. You were talking about it about John Joe Kenny with Schalke playing that little knock and getting it back and then throwing it in front of defenders. Yeah. If you throw a ball in front of defenders, they're facing their own goal. They're terrified to touch it. A lot of them will let it go across them, and that's where you're running in. You've got to tap in. Exactly. We don't. We work the space well, and then we hesitate like Seamus.
We should have every time we get in a position where Seamus Coleman's got the ball or Dean's got the ball. Yeah. We should have three players and someone on the penalty spot and somebody on the edge of the area.
One of the centre midfielders should be on the backs. The rest of them should be in the box.
What's the worst that's going to happen? And this is where you need a player like Garner, isn't it? Again,
well, you could
played again last night and still haven't conceded a goal while he's been playing.
You could have Schneiderlin, though, just make tactical fouls on the halfway line. Gareth Barry never had any pace.
No, but what I'm saying is, though,
point
being is that
it's intelligence.
You've got to have someone. We don't have anyone who's got that mobility in midfield at the moment. He's
sitting out, isn't he? That's sadly Gabam, and he's sitting out the team.
Even the thing is, there's
only one game.
No, but the thing.
What I'm saying is that we've only got one, and that's what annoys me.
I think Gomez can get around the pitch.
He's been better this season defensively. Gomez, winning the ball more. He is.
But I know what you're saying. If you gamble that, if you've got Luca Dean and he's throwing a cross in, so Bernard's worked, say it's Bernard, and he's worked the space. Bernard should then tuck in, so he's in the penalty area. Yeah. We should have Dom, Richarlison, Seamus Coleman, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and then we should have Fabian Delph protecting the D on the edge of the box. And then Schneiderlin, and then your two centre-backs. So it should be staggered. So if that is cleared, we've got players you can cut off the spaces.
Well, one of my problems is, and this is a nice segue into part two, is... Okay. Why are Gabam and Schneiderlin completely different players, and there are two options for the number 6, right? That to me is a bigger problem, as well as your phone going off. Or was your iPad? It was one of them. You've got that many technology gadgets that you should all be on silent. But God,
you've had the iPad. I haven't.
You say this, but it's not my iPad. I don't own an iPad. Why are those two players so dissimilar? That's what I'm saying.
Because you couldn't get rid of one of them.
No, I know, but then... So is there someone in the under-23s...
You're going to say Kenny Benigni,
You're ruining my segue here, and I'm not talking about the two-wheeled bike thing that they ride around in America. We'll be back in part 2 to discuss, is there anyone in the 23s, and what's going on with the 23s, and why does Andy hate David Unsworth? We'll be right back.
I don't.
Thanks for downloading the Toffee TV podcast, but did you know we put all our shows out as podcasts? Head over to patreon.com/Toffee TV EFC and you'll find all the latest shows available as podcasts exclusively for Patreon subscribers. So if you need to find all the latest Everton news, conversations, stats, match previews and match reviews as easily downloadable podcasts at your convenience, head over to Patreon. Welcome back, part 2 of Toffee TV Podcast. Pet Andy and the Baz. So I was going to say the Piv, but I said the Baz instead.
Changing it up.
Episode 8.
Is it 8? Yeah.
Changing it up on like Marco. Oops.
Ooh, it's gone there.
You hate the Everton management team. You
No,
hate
no,
Silva, you hate
no,
Unsworth,
no,
you hate Brand, you hate
I
everyone.
don't hate Brand.
You know, I'm only messing.
No, it's the thing is about. Do you know what? I just expect more. Maybe.
Do you know what, and? Say it in a tweet, it's a cop-out. Say it in the street, it's a knockout.
Didn't Baz say that? Because I've heard him say it more than Taylor Swift.
He took it off me.
I literally took it off Taylor Swift.
Well, no, I took it off Taylor Swift.
Was you right for
took
Taylor
it
Swift?
off.
I didn't take it off you.
Well, I've said, you did. You heard it and went, I like that. You don't listen. You listen to Radio 4. Let's get it right.
No, hang on. You're the one listening to... I listen to Radio 2.
I listen to Radio 2.
I don't.
I do. What do you listen to?
I listen to... I don't listen to any music.
Don't listen. What do you
Just sounds.
Just sounds. Ocean.
drive.
The ocean.
I drive in silence.
The ocean.
This is Ocean Drive by the Lighthouse
I
family.
drive and think.
Drive and think. I mean, it helps.
It does.
Does help.
Have you ever drove anywhere and got there and gone, how did I get here?
Every day.
Isn't that... I've done that.
It's automatic, isn't it?
Where? You should go to where?
No, that was by the Pointer Sisters.
Oh.
England's automatic.
Don't start singing.
Cut you right off.
That's why he doesn't sing in the car, because he hates his own voice.
My voice is great.
Acoustics.
I mean, you say that.
I mean, literally is, but there you go. What were we on about? 23s?
Under 23s, so the under 23s are unbeaten so far this season. They won last night 2-0 with goals from
Ellis Sims
and
Anthony Evans.
I pointed it.
I know, but he might have forgotten.
He's
too busy taking on hundreds
in some what's it called?
The leasing.com.
Checker trades.
No, that's the lease, which is genius, because as Paddy Boylan said, when you write leasing.com in a story, the hyperlink comes up. I mean,
Clever.
that's clever, isn't it?
How many stories are written about the leasing.com?
Well, you'd say that, but in the leasing.com world, there's a lot of...
There's a lot.
So, under 23s undefeated, looks so good, looks really good so far for the season. So, why do you hate them so much, Andy?
It's not that I hate them. This is my this is what I think, and this is what other teams around the world do. It's about development. Now, it's all well and good having a really successful under 23 team if it's servicing your first team.
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't think it does. Okay. The style's completely different. We tend to play a lot of older players rather than getting games for our younger players. Now, this season, I think we've got one of the oldest average teams in the Premier League too.
37.
I think most of them. I think you've got Harry Charsley, who's not under contract, who plays nearly every game.
He's got a contract now.
Got a contract.
Oh, right.
They give him a contract because they said last week that because he got a bad injury back in the last season,
they
felt like they were obligated to give him a contract so he's contracted till January because they said he felt it obligated because he couldn't get a club and they were playing him.
Well,
felt stupid.
I understand that.
Basically, just seen you giving them grief on Twitter.
Well, actually, I like Harry Charsley for like League 1 or 2. I really do. He's a nice little player, but
on Twitter it's a cop out.
But then you've got like Alex Denny, who's like 19, and shouldn't he be getting minutes over Harry Charsley? I'm not saying Alex Denny's going to make the first team ever, but you need to play players, give them minutes. There should be a clear pathway. They come into the under 23s, they play a year or 6 months, then they should either get loaned out or in the first team, wherever they're ready for. Either way. Look at John Joe. He's gone to Germany. He's doing well. That's the ideal loan. Yeah, we should have a loans manager. I think the last one was Joe Royal.
It was.
Every club in the top 6 definitely. I know even Bournemouth have one as well. They all have loans managers.
Even Bournemouth?
No, because we're speaking to him the other day, so it makes it different. But they have. His name's Carl Fletcher. He's a nice guy. So, but
the dream team.
Is the ex Bournemouth striker Carl Fletcher?
Yeah. So, but what they do is they look at we've got João Virginia on loan at Redwood. It's not great for him.
He's not playing.
So what these loan managers do is they get all the data and find statistically teams that match how we play, what they've got in goal, and whether they're going to get games.
Well, that's maybe why they can't get loans, because you just said no one knows how we play, not even you.
Well, that's true.
So if they're looking for them stats, they can't get
honestly, Everton have got really good analysts, so there's some disconnect. Anyway, so the pathway is not right at the moment for the first team, because you've got David Unsworth, who, don't be wrong, he's actually done really well in the under 23s for himself, and I'm not saying but he obviously wants a job in League 1, League 2, the Championship. He probably should have left last year, maybe this summer. I don't think maybe he had the opportunities. I think Wigan have been sniffing around them, from what I've been told, but Paul Cook's still there for whatever reason. But it's not conducive. Basically from the under 12s, whenever they start, all the way through, they should be playing one system. City do it, Liverpool do it, and they all come through playing one style. They're ready for it. I'm not saying a manager style, I'm saying a club style.
Should the under 23s be like every other level? So you'll play under 9s, does it jump 2 years or is it still every year?
It's some do jump a couple of years.
I think they jumped it.
I think 13's definitely.
So when they get to under 18s, then they go to under 23s. Should they play only? So should they look at it and say, well, you'll play under 18s and then you'll play under 23s, and after the year, you're gonna. There's 3 options: first team, loan, or maybe a second year at a push, because maybe
you need
exceptional circumstances like you came out the under 18s when you were quite young or something like that.
17, yeah.
So maybe something like that. I think you're absolutely right. But one thing I would say, or maybe suggest, is, are a lot of those players playing in that team to service maybe a couple of players?
Yes, that's fine, but you need to get the best. You need to develop them to sell them. That's another thing that we don't do well. So by having them, so even if you get them on everyone on the same pathway, you send them out on loan. If they do well on loan, you get money for them. So that you're actually creating a market then of players to sell, players to keep, and you're developing them all on the same thing. Now, not every player can go out on loan because you can't loan 15 players anymore. They've put the prevent to that. But Anthony Gordon, either the decision's going to come by Christmas. I think it's either is he going to be part of the first team squad, or we're going to go maybe 6 months in Germany, then he'll be in the first team in the summer, something like that. They're the pathways we need to think of. We can't just go, he'll be in the 23s for a whole year, for the next 3 years. Like, Dennis Adnaran came from Fulham. He's not really developed that much. I like Dennis Adnaran. I think he's got quality. I wouldn't say he's going to he's a Premier League player, because I think he's been that long in his development that you can't say that at this moment in time. But there's been mistakes made.
Is that a worry? Is that 3 years ago we brought in quite a few players. We bought them, and we brought, as you mentioned there, Adnaran, we brought Josh Bowler, we brought Lewis Gibson, we brought Matty Folds, we bought like 5, 6, 7, didn't we?
Yeah,
and really, there's only maybe Lewis Gibson at the moment that I can genuinely say would be knocking around the fair. He's basically the fourth centre.
We'll pay up to $6 million for him. So that's the price.
They obviously thought he was very, very good. So you look at that and think, what's happening with the pathway if players that are... I mean, Josh Bowler already played for QPR,
yeah. He's coming off the bench, yeah. And now, I've spoke about this in other times. Say you come from QPR, you start getting first team minutes, and they go to you, you're going to play in under 23s, which you've just come out of. Yeah. It's not good psychologically for the player. So with Josh Bowler, maybe we should have said, Everton have been linked with Joe Geldhart, haven't they? Yeah. Lad from Everton, who's playing for Wigan. My idea for him is, you sign him, you don't bring him to Everton, you leave him at Wigan for another 18 months. He plays first team football. And
let David Unsworth become the manager of Wigan.
Probably not on that front, but even so, and then he gets the minutes, he's developing. That's the problem. We're taking this is the whole problem with the Premier League. You take all these players into your academy. There's probably too many players in Man City's especially, and then you're not really developing them. But Man City,
it's the same with Hamilton. He plays for Hamilton Academicals, who haven't looking at James Hamilton, I think.
Yes,
the 17-year-old centre back.
Got sent off his first
I believe he comes in, he'll go into the 23s and get his playing in the first team.
Well, let's be honest, doing the 23 league is below League 2 level, probably in a lot of ways. The old reserve league, if you ever listen to Ryan Giggs talk about when he played, I think he played at Goodison, didn't he? One of his first reserve games at like 17, 16. He said I was playing against seasoned pros all the time. It battle hardened. Now you're just playing against lads that you've all played every single
I played in the same thing, Lancashire League. You'd be playing against pros, reserve
coming
games.
Back from injuries,
playing against pros. You'd be playing, when I was at Burnley, we play like Medine, who was their first team. There'd be like 30-year-old centre backs booting you up and down. Yeah. Then you'd go and play against lads who'd play. I remember playing against Liverpool, and they had like McManaman, they had Harkness, who played in the league for Carlisle. They had Nick Tanner, who'd been playing in the Premier, in the league, the football league, League One, Division 1. They had Mike Marsh, who played 30-odd games for Liverpool. You're playing against these fellas who've played at that level, and you go, these are good lads. Whereas I watch it, we say it all the time, I watch the under-18s, and the lads are getting 5 goals, and when you watch it, no one's getting near them. No one's putting a tackle in, and you're like...
on a show pitch,
on a perfect pitch, and it's like, is this non-contact football?
There's no crowds, there's no atmosphere, pressure. But you look at the under-18s, and we've scored a number of goals. I think Thomas Cannon got 4 in a game this season.
That was Tom Cannon the other week when you won 8-2.
And Sims scored goals like the last team. But if you look at the top goal scorers in that under-18 league, some of them never do nothing, because it's Martel Taylor-Crossdale, Chelsea scored, I think, similar number to Sims did last season. I think he went to Fulham on a free this summer. He's not even getting the Fulham team. So And when he went up to under 23s, he couldn't score goals. So there's a jump up in levels.
I mean, I watched Ellis Sims last night and I thought he looked...
It
was just better than I'd seen him. He was strong. He was up against 30-year-old centre-backs who were used to league football. He cracked them a few times. He went back for more, which was good. Took his goal brilliantly.
I suppose that's what's good about this tournament, isn't it?
Yeah.
And last year I watched some of these games when it was the Checker Trade Toffee, and I remember when they played Bury and they were 2-0 up.
Oldham.
Was it Oldham? Yeah, sorry, Oldham.
You told me.
Yeah, sorry, it was me told you that. They played Oldham, and they were 2-0 up, and they scored quite early on the second half, and the momentum shift, and you've just seen them start to make a lot of silly little mistakes, and Oldham ended up winning the game 3-2. Whereas I suppose from last year to this year, I've seen a lot more evidence of players being a lot more experienced and grown up in their decision making. But then, if that's the case, when are they going to get that step? Because before we were talking about the first team and someone like Gabamon, and you're looking at someone like Beningame, who's clear, he's already played Premier League games, and has had his chance. Went to Wigan and obviously got a lot of injuries and stuff, never really played, and now he's in that weird void of
he's not going to make it.
Exactly, he's not going to make it.
What's weird about him? Really, what's weird about him is I don't remember him ever having a poor game for our first team ever.
That's the issue there. You come in the first team, then when Allardyce came in, out you go, never to be seen again, and that's why you either keep them in the first team or you loan them out straight away, because. Like, imagine Ellis Sims, how much better, right? He's going to go back to playing under 23 football next week or this week. What if he was playing against Burton's level every week? How good's he going to get quicker? How test himself? Now he might have a rough time and not score many goals, but he's learning all the time.
I watched the game last night. He should have scored one other one. The Gordon put over it. There was a sitter he missed. He ended up trying to back heel it in and he got cleared. But he was very good and he did get cracked. But there was a few of them last night, and you're right, we had seen them. They beat Mansfield as well in the last game as well, when Anthony Gordon scored that worldie. And it's good because they're up against lads who have got loads of league experience.
But 45 games, 6 games.
But the irony is with a lot
Stephen
of
Bywater in goal last night as well. He played for West Ham.
The irony is with a lot of those players last night, though, you feel like they are just fattening them up to play in the Championship or League One. Like, a lot of them have gone past that point now where you think, well, it's not even worth it anymore.
Morgan Feeney, he's 21 nearly.
No, I love
the thing with Morgan though is he had a bad injury.
No, I agree, he did.
Stopped them going.
I agree, he did, but he should. This
should have been the game. He should have been. Year he should have been on loan.
Oh, January.
Adam Aaron should have been out on loan. Evans is still. I know Evans. He's done well in under 23, but he seems to be an under 23 player now. When he went to Blackpool, he was okay.
The couple, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, the Plata seen under it the other day saying he's expected to go out on loan. They've had clubs,
but he'll never come back.
No, he's not going to play in that.
No,
you know what? He's a decent little forward.
No, he is.
But again, League One Championship again.
Yeah.
But what would he have been at 18 if they started thinking about this pathway early instead of going, let's get on 21 and the under 23s?
The way I look at it, I agree with you. I think I've said this yesterday, I think, to Paddy, and I think me and you talked about it, Ped, is that the 18s, the lads should be 16, 17 playing in that. Yeah. Come out of the 18s, you go straight into that 23s. I think if you're in Everton's under 21s or under 23s and you're 21 or over, you ain't making it unless you're a real top prospect and they're going, you're in the first team squad and then you just keep starting us up with games.
I was thinking about this.
Lewis Gibson.
But I was thinking about this before, right? And I'm watching last night the Champions League game and I'm looking at Phil Foden coming off the bench. And funny enough, Don Hutchinson said, "What's Phil Foden actually doing here? What's he? Oh, Phil Foden just scored."
Everyone listens to Don Hutchinson.
Oh, he's very good, actually, very good. No, but the point being is that you've got to play like Phil Foden, who comes off the bench now, but he's not playing under 23 football. He
travels with the first team, he's got everywhere.
Exactly.
Hang on, but then isn't that Tom Davis? Tom Davis is just 21.
Tom Davis is 21. Phil Foden's 18.
Yeah, 18.
He's 18.
But he's a different level.
Is he though? Isn't he different level?
In their mind, I mean.
But that's not the point. Is that we're waiting too long.
But
that's why I think Anthony Gordon should be in with the first team.
We'll talk about Gordon in a minute. We go on to him. But what I'm saying is there'll be some players who are like Phil Foden, Anthony Gordon.
Yes.
And you look at and go, this kid's special. This kid is special,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then you might look and go, there's a player like Benny Beningame, say, or Dennis Adeniran, or one I was impressed with last night was Markello, who, when I'd seen him before,
lot,
I thought, that kid's not doing nothing. Last night,
so much better on the ball,
foot on the ball,
so
box to box, breaking out in the 88th minute, length of the pitch.
Don't you think some of that comes down to actually what they're playing as well? You said before, a lot of those players play. No, what I mean is a lot of those players play in an atmosphere where, say in the under-18s, where it's non-touch football. They have basically have agreements not to touch each other. So players are going in and not really doing anything. Whereas last night, like you said, it's a proper competitive games. Yeah. They know they're going to be it. They know they can hit someone as well. And suddenly you've let the shackles go off of just playing on a train.
Because you're up against lads in that trophy who, you're not making a mug out of me. I do this for this is my livelihood, and I'm trying to get in the team. On I mean, 8 of their first team anyway.
They have to play a certain number of players.
That's what I'm saying. You're playing against players who they've got to pay for their mortgage. They've got bonuses. They're not
having some kid from Everton negging them and stuff like that.
Whereas you watch a lot of 23 games, and respect to Everton for winning 2 years out of 3, but some of them turn up and they know exactly what it is. You look at Man City and you look at Liverpool, and they're like, that's not.
It's not for winning.
It's not 18, 17-year-olds playing in there.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what City do. It's development.
For City and Liverpool, it's not for their players. It's not the be-all and end-all. The be-all and end-all is the League Cup, getting in that, and then that gets, and then maybe, and then maybe you get a loan, and then maybe you come back. Whereas Everton are so hamstrung because we've got to win a trophy, or got to be seen to be trying to win a trophy. That those kids are not getting a chance. So the under-23s then becomes the be-all and end-all for loads. I mean, I've seen, I've been at both games when we've won the league, and it's. It is a big thing, and that's fine.
But it should be at that stage for them lads.
It should
win and stuff.
But then, where's the drive to go that little bit further?
No, you're right, but that's why I'm saying. So what I was saying was at 18, then it is the year in that 23s. But one or two players might need another year in that before they're ready to go. Doesn't mean they're never making it at Everton, because everyone develops at a different stage, right? But there will be cases like Wayne Rooney.
Of course.
Gerrard, well, even Steven Gerrard. I remember Gerrard was 18 and people were still unsure. And I remember watching him playing in the European game for Liverpool's debut, and he got beat Liverpool 1-0 at home. But I looked at him and thought, looks like a good player. Then he disappeared again for a bit because they didn't think he was ready, and they were looking at him even then and then saying, not sure. And then he had that growth spurt which ended up wrecking his back for a few years, but he had a big growth spurt, and then all of a sudden he was back in the team.
But was he going out the team to play in the Resis, or was he going to play in the
Well, he was still playing, wasn't he?
No, that's what I'm saying.
He wasn't just training with Liverpool.
No, what I'm saying is though, that's the point, isn't that's the whole point, isn't it? They're going into the Resis and they're getting smacked everywhere, and it's not under 23s football where you watch that under 23s and it's not the standard, it's the competitiveness of it. It's just
playing against the same players they play through every age
group.
Now, when I looked, I'm a bit of a football nerd, so I looked at the players of the Premiership in teams who made it. They either went out on loan at 18, they either in the first team getting regular minutes at 18 or 19. Not 2021. There was so many. I think there was one or two that made it.
No, but that's why I'm saying. Well, look, Joe Pickford was on loan against Southport in the conference when he was 17.
That's what you need to do.
And he played in every division, hasn't he, Pickford?
Exactly.
That's on loans and stuff.
Even if it's just 11 games, 12 games, it all makes a difference because you then go, this is the standard that I need to be either be or above.
Well, what about if it's, say it's Marco Silva, or we've talked about this with Guardiola, with Phil Foden. People go, loan Phil Foden to Derby, and Guardiola's like, hang on, he's better here with Silva. So what, with like David Silva and Bernardo, but what if Marco Silva looks and goes, well, no, I don't want to loan Anthony Gordon to blah because he's better here training with Gomez, Bernardo.
Then step up his levels. Then
I'd agree with that. I'd look at him and go, well, then he's going to come everywhere with us. And yes, he probably play in that trophy, the leasing.com trophy, and play in that. But then I don't know. He's an interesting one because he's still this is his first season on the 23s. But that's why. He played last year, but he was always on the bench, and he did come off the bench.
We'll get into that in a second.
But this year, all right, we'll let you loose. You can go anytime. But this year, he's a starter. He's a genuine starter, and that's why
And they've changed his position.
I've been very reluctant on. I'm very reluctant. I've said loads of times I didn't think anyone was going to make it to the 23s. But already I see something in this kid that is completely different. He's got that level that I haven't seen since Tom, and it's hard because you see how much Tom has been in and out the side, but at least he's been in and out the first team. He'd still be miles too good for the under-23s. And maybe, if there's somewhere he could go on loan, I don't think the Championship suits.
No, he'd have to go to Germany.
I think he'd have to go to...
Germany, France, where it's a bit more physical. That'd be good for Tom.
And with atmospheres, it's what the big thing is playing.
Play
in big
against
stadiums.
proper, where there's game, where it's on the line, where there's actual things to win on the line. You get experience and players, because you also learn off experienced pros.
And crowds.
You get out of your comfort zone as well.
But
you haven't got your mates around you, you haven't got your family around you, you haven't got, and I suppose that's a lot of the players we've brought in are getting that at Everton as well. But you don't want to bring these players in from outside and go, this is the biggest thing that's ever going to happen to you. I
suppose a comparison would be, and Zach said this to me last night when we were watching it, he said, Moise Keane could play in this, couldn't he? Because he's only 19. And I was like, but there's no way Moise Keane would ever play that, because I was saying to him, he's levels and levels and levels above. So I guess that's the flip side of that. He's 19.
But he's been developed properly by Juventus.
No, but I'm saying
he went on loan.
He's 19. Yeah, he went on loan at 17.
Well, look at Richarlison. The Brazilians have got no choice but to bring players into their first team at 17, 18. Then he goes to Europe, leaves his family behind. Goes to Watford, and when a season he signs for us, and he's that's within the space of like 3 years.
You only have to look at France. They produce because they play from such a young age in basically, because this is the problem. We've got this established football league, haven't we? In France, League 2 is full of Paris Saint-Germain under 23s and Lyon under 23s, and they play against men who are like got contracts at other clubs, and so basically they develop much better. The English system's very much against it.
It comes back to us needing to buy a club in Europe.
Well, look at
it does. I City have bought Anderlecht or RB.
That's going to be unreal for them. I'm going to be honest. But you look at the RB model; they're the best at it because they've got Liefering, which is the second division club in Austria. All the kids go there. It's 15, 16, play every week against Austrian second division pros. Then they can go to Salzburg, who are good enough, and then they get sold to Leipzig. And they just basically got a ready-made system of.
Got one in Brazil now, haven't they?
Bragantino
and
they've
got one in New York as well.
Yeah, so they've got coaches.
They've got coaches.
Well, it's Jesse Marshall.
No, but for me, I actually think
that
people could go, it could cost us this much. I think we'd probably save money.
No,
I think we'd save money.
Tim Keach, who I work with, he stopped punching on Twitter. His big thing is, for the price of Tosin, you could run another team for 5 years and get all the good players from their academy, play our best players, and that's not just Tosin. Any player who's £20 million.
I'm not.
The wages.
I'm just going, when you put it like
the wages that we're wasting.
No-brainer.
The wages that we're wasting right now. You think about someone like you think about Martina, right, or Nias, right? Think about them and the money that we're wasting on them. Rather than them sitting around, they could be as rubbish as anyone might think they are. If you put them two in a team with a load of kids, and suddenly you've got a team that's got a little bit of competitive because it's got a couple of seasoned pros in there, then suddenly that team doesn't become just a team of kids. It becomes a team that would have a go at a few teams.
And if Nias or Martin have done well there, someone to go, well, actually, we'll have them. We'll
exactly.
pay you for
But it
them.
opens up so many opportunities as well to bend the system as well. We've seen George Hurst going from Sheffield Wednesday over to the Leicester team in Belgium and then brought back for nothing to get round having to pay compensation.
Brighton sent Percy Tau, the South African striker, to a second division Belgian team. They've got a team, and now he's at Club Brugge on loan. But that's what you circumvent the system. And Everton, even a Scottish club would do.
Well, we need to get smart then, don't we? Again.
But it's down to the club's model, though. I don't know if Mashiri's thinking that far ahead.
It's the financial footing as well as the stadium.
Well, actually, you say that, but Mets, who are now in Liga 1, they've got a deal with an academy in Senegal called Generation Foot. It costs them $500,000 a year, but they've got Ismail Assar, Sadio Mane. Now they've got Ibrahim Niane. These players, they'll make them 50 million. All them have made them 50 million. The pays for it, 100 times over.
We can't get them players though.
No, right. So that's but we could have a team in. We can't have it in Germany, but say Austria, or we could have a team in Holland, like Vitesse. How many good players have they had? Like, have they sent to Vitesse and they've come back and they played in the Premier League?
Definitely.
That's the difference.
That's what we need to do. So for out of that 23s last night, for me, I think Sims has got a chance. He's still not ready yet, but he's looking better.
There's a chance.
I think for me, Gordon's head and shoulders. But I was impressed with Gibson always. You know what? Feely done well last night. I think he needs to bulk up.
I
love
the kid. He's got everything you'd want from a from an Everton sort of centre back.
Could be real about him. He's not.
No, I am real, mate. I am real.
Agree, yeah.
I think
the two centre midfielders.
But at the same time, I want someone like him to have a good career, and I think he's not going to have a good career.
I'd have said no to Baz and Andy a while ago on Marcelo, but last night I thought, I'm not saying
they're ready with the first team, isn't he?
Yeah, well, they've literally chosen 4 players who were in the first team squad, which is Gordon, Baz and Andy, and Gibson.
So you're going to play 4-3-3. I'm not saying Baz and Andy's ready for that because he's not, because he should have been out on loan, but he's a box-to-box midfielder now. Once he's had him, we'll get to Unsworth now. He's been playing him on the right wing all season. This is what the has been saying.
Last night, though.
Yeah, I mentioned. Finally said he's back at centre mid, but I like Unsworth to do, and I think he's done really well winning things, but it's not conducive to producing players. Now, Anthony Gordon was on the bench last season, his first season under 18s, under 23s. I'm sorry, but if we know he's that talented, he should be getting as much game time to accelerate his thing. I don't care if Unsworth loves Harry Charsley or whoever he was playing last season, who else was in there, Hennon, whoever over the years. Yeah. They do not matter to Everton's future. Anthony Gordon does. Play him. I understand that the football as well, the ball misses the midfield at most of the time completely. Goes from front to back. That's not how we play. Well, maybe we should play that in the first team, but
well, if it wins stuff, yeah.
We don't. So when they're going to win, I think Anthony Gordon will be fine because he's such an intelligent player and he's yards ahead of the players at that level. But when you bring, say you brought an Alderweireld in, he's going to be a bit of a fish out of water in that system because he doesn't know, he's not been part of it except maybe in training. So if we were bringing, say, Lewis Dobbin from the age of 14.
Come on, last night looked very quick.
He's very good,
very bright.
So Lewis Dobbin, if he come through the whole system playing it in an Everton style, the manager can change, but the style manager would say, then they'd be ready to step in the first.
He's interesting, Dobbin, because he was playing at under 16s at 13 and 14.
What
I find under 18s at 15, so
16 now.
What I do find quite interesting though, it's a bit annoying actually. It's not. I don't know if annoying is the right word, but it been hearing the same names for like 3-4 years, and you think every year there's an age group, or every 2 years there's an age group, and if you're hearing the same Anthony Evans and these kind of players, and Morgan Feeney's another one, you'll continue hearing all these players, and you think, where's the next crop? Where's the next crop?
Lewis Dobbin's the next one.
Because that's you're right there. There's a bottleneck at the top because Unsworth's loyal to these players that have won things, and they actually should be stepping up into playing those minutes. Them lads should be going out on loan. But Everton have got one of the oldest leagues in Premier League 2, and Man City, look at Man City, we played them last weekend, 2-2 wasn't it? Yeah. They had some cracking young players in their team, but Everton are physically more matured than them, so they can balance out the levels because we're older. Most of their players are 17, 18 and 19. Most of ours are nearly 20 and over now. It's by the way, I
think the best example of all of these is Kieran Dowell. To see a player that really should have been handled much better, put somewhere that suited his skills instead of just basically getting a team and going, there you go. And he's the one, and he's not going to have a career.
He's made wrong decisions, though. He should never have gone to Sheffield United. He should have gone to Rangers with Gerrard. Said this.
Yeah, but who's making those?
I know. I don't know who it is. I don't know
what the big turning point was for him is when they had Mark Warburton, not Forrest. Mark Warburton loves playing young players. Loves to develop them. When they changed Aitor Karanka, who's one of the most negative managers you can get, that was the end for Dowell and that team. And that 6 months was lost then for him because he scored like 9 goals by that point.
I also believe going back that one of the other big decisions that has messed all this up is Koeman's decisions that he made in the Europa League. Stop Tom Davis from progressing by not playing him in all those games. And then what I mean by that is we bought too many players. So and this is where the bottleneck starts. So you stop Tom Davis from developing, and then if you stop Tom Davis from developing, you're stopping the fella behind Tom Davis from developing, and so on and so on and so on. Where it should have been sink or swim. Tom Davis, is he in the team? Well, he's in all the Europa League. John Joe Kenny's in all the Europa League games. Kieran Dowell's in every squad, in every game, they're going to be involved. And then suddenly the people behind them go, well, there's the pathway. And then you're not getting Tom going, well, I'm stuck on the bench here. Whereas Tom Davis' spot on the bench now should be Anthony Gordon, and Tom Davis should be in the first team. Maybe if things have gone slightly different. And that's where, again, we're not getting them into the first team to see if they're good enough. We're stopping the next person, and we might be missing out on. Who's to say if Benigni had got a run in games? He could have been the natural successor to Garner.
Well, everyone said he was.
But Benigni after that period where Allardyce, brought up the team, whoever Steve Walsh should have went, we send him out on loan. Let's capitalise on he's playing games. He should have been out on loan and kept playing against first teams.
It also comes down to carrying such a big squad as well. Because we've had all these players on big money, and we said it at the time. We said, when we bought all those number 10s, and when you look back at how bad that Europa League thing is, we should have gone, well, the Premier League's for the players who are experienced.
Tom Davies should have played in the Premier League. Davy Klassen should have played in.
It could have been the other way around.
Never have been.
Sandro
just got killed his confidence completely.
He should have played, and that's what I'm saying. We should have been brave enough to go, we've got good enough players that'll get us through the group. We'll win 3 games by playing these kids. These will be fierce. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was in there as well, although he did miss a sitter in the last minute against Minshall.
And he did score in Bruce and better.
No, he did. No, but that's what I'm saying. If you'd had Tom, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, John Joe Kenny, Kieran Dahl, Bellingham possibly in there, although he was
Conley as well was pretty good when he was young as well, and then his career.
But that's what I'm saying. We've just went and bought all these players and just didn't split them right, and that's the problem. They're not getting enough development either because they're not playing enough games. And I know people, we spoke about last week and we laughed about this conference, but this European conference, if we were in it, it'd be great for all those players.
Half and half, yeah. Half
so there is
players.
Benny for me has still got half a chance. But
potentially, but it's now or never.
Is he training with the first team though?
Yeah, he is. But what I mean is, he doesn't seem to ever be getting considered though. So that's an issue, isn't it?
That's a psychological thing. Now, this is where I think this all has to come together. You've got a man in charge in Marcel Brands who plans years ahead. Now, what he did at PSV, Grace, is, and this is where it comes into logical thinking. You go, like you said, you've got that plan where when he steps out, he comes in. He's got now, the PSV, when he left, they've now got Cody Gakpo on the right. They've got Haslin as the number 10. They've got Malin, and they've got who's the other kid? They've got, I think they're the 3. Sorry, and then so they sold Lozano, so that means Gakpo plays more games.
Yeah.
They sold Young, so that means Marlon plays more games, and that's what they've done.
Who's the one we wanted?
Haslin.
Is he?
Can we just buy all their good players?
So but he was right though what he said about him. No, if we'd have bought him, he'd been our 23s. He'd be ruined. He'd be playing.
But what they do smartly is you go. So I know people don't like to hear this, but maybe go right. Richarlison's probably going to make 100 million in 2 years. We'll sell Richarlison. Yeah. Anthony Gordon by that time will be off the bench scoring off the bench, and he'll replace him. And
but the problem with us is, and this is what happens. No, this is what happens. This is the problem. This is the problem with English football. This is not just heaven. Is that if Richarlison in 2 years' time wants to move, we won't have anyone. And this goes back to the swim about Ghana. Bellingham should have been the natural successor. He should have been getting trained up to be the natural successor. He's got all the attributes. He gets around the pitch. He keeps it simple. He can, he's box to box. He's got the energy, and he should have been getting built. He was almost like shadowing him.
Yeah.
And
you
then
said this over Baines, though, didn't you?
We said this. We're
saying it over Seamus.
And maybe it's happening with Seamus, with John Joe. Who's to say that's not happening with Seamus? But the point being is that we brought Gabama in, which was the right decision as well. But it should be him and Bellingham fighting that position out. We shouldn't be going from. You can say they're both number 6, but Snarner's got 0 in common with Gabama. Absolutely nothing in common.
Well, that's just,
and then you both speak French.
And then another one is you've got the same with Tom Davies and Sigurdsson. So every position, is he number 8? No. Is he number 6? No. What position is it? Well, I see him as a Sigurdsson's replacement.
He's never going to play that
They're not the same player whatsoever. So where does that leave Tom? And I think this is where the club have fallen down.
Sigurdsson should be trying to be like Davies, really.
Should be
being able to get on the ball, get about the pitch,
sit on the bench.
Bit more.
Well, my issue with the Davis thing is in last season he ended up in the stand for about 5 or 6 games, and I just don't get it. Now this is the problem. Now are we employing managers under the guys that he's basically only going to get?
Employing managers in disguise. I think they'll have to be soon. Come in, just complete. They won't tell us who the manager is, so we don't have anything.
No one's got a clue.
We don't know who they are.
Full votes
like
on
the stick.
Decisions we pick the
just
team
like the stick,
like Ebbsfleet.
Yeah, Ebbsfleet.
Just have like the stick. Just have them dressed with like the helmets on the side of the pitch, moving.
Like the manager, this is the problem with managers now, and this is why only no one's fearless enough to play kids. They all go, I can't afford to lose a couple of games, so I can't play these young lads. Hasn't decided, to be fair to him, and I know they're not doing great to them, but he's trying to build something. But Southampton, that's their model, though. Everton's model is this: we want to do well quickly, We also want to think about the future. You need to decide, because they should have said this year, if they didn't think they were ready to make this top 6, they should have said this year we just want to try and get Europe, whether it's 7th or win a cup, and then if we finish in the top 6, great. I know you can't exactly say that to the fans, but that Marco Silva should be under that knowledge that he can play.
Well, he probably is.
To be fair, they say very little to the fans. So.
Well, that's the problem. The communication from the club's always been bad. So at the start of the season, everyone was losing their heads because they thought we were going to get top 6 because everyone was bad. When if you look at it, you go, maybe we can. If we get consistent, we do this. But there's still, if Marco's the man to take it forward, there's still a year or two plan left.
Going back to the shadowing thing, that seems to me exactly what Pep Guardiola has done with Phil Foden. He's essentially letting them shadow both Silvers.
Once David Silva leaves in the summer, then Foden will get more time.
Well, he will. He become the backup to Bernardo Silva. And then he'll get more time.
And he can also play in field.
He can
play more and more. And
he's a tremendous. But do you know what I'd say? And I'm not saying Anthony Gordon's on his level because he's not quite. But when I watched that under-17s team with Hudson-Odoi, Foden, Sancho, he left early, them type of players, Anthony Gordon, in terms of football intelligence, the speed of thought, the decision making, I know it's still refining it. He's
Did
not
you see his pass last night for Sims?
Honestly,
that pass wasn't. People, I don't think if some of our first team players would have played that ball first time to Sims.
What, did it go forward?
No,
have you seen it?
He's our most talented young player since Ross Barkley. And now Ross Barkley may have had his flaws, but he was a very good young player when he first came in. And I think Anthony Gordon's.
But he came in. Don't forget. Barkley came into the first team.
He made his debut at 17.
They nearly blew it though.
No, don't forget. He came into the first team. Moyes had a good look at him. He tried to be Billy Big Bollocks against Rooney. Rooney put him on his arse and showed him what it meant to be a proper. And then Moyes had to step him down because he knew that he was probably a good enough player, but mentally wasn't right for it.
I was at Fulham and he was on the bench for us and he was 16. And then he had that double leg break about 2 weeks later. But he was saying he needs to play. And Moyes was like, he's very close to playing. 16.
Too much for Maverick.
But I say what you like about Moyes. Moyes had Wayne, Baxter, and Barkley ready to go.
Moyes, but
Tim
Rodwell. Was he right with Rooney? To keep bringing him on off the bench all the time, or should he just played him? Because there was a lot of consternation at the time about.
Do you know what I think it was with
Wayne
that though?
Do
you know what I think? But you know I think what it was about Wayne. Do you know what I think it was about Wayne? No, I think he probably thought he had more time with Wayne.
Yeah,
maybe you're right.
I think he thought he was going to
2-3 years.
I think he thought he was going to have him probably till 21, 22, almost like the Torres route to get him. Don't forget, Moyes was saying he was going to make him captain and all kinds. It was Paul Stefford who pushed him out the door, and he probably actually thought Kenwright would have held firmer, because don't forget, Kenwright wasn't selling for anything less than 50 million quid. And he ended up
17 million down, but
no, that's what he said, didn't he? He said 50. So Moyes probably thought, I've got this kid for free.
Offering more as well.
Chelsea wanted him for 50 and then he broke his metatarsal and the Euros, didn't he? Everton was selling him for behind his back, which is the other reason why they need.
Let's be honest, that is an issue, by the way. We do compare every youth player to Wayne Rooney, who's one of the finest players. No, as a collective fan base.
But I just thought then when you were talking about Foden, I was thinking, well, I'm not even comparing Anthony Gordon to Foden, because Foden's got a harder job to get in the City team than Anthony Gordon's got to get in the Everton team, or Benningham's got to get in the Everton team. I just comparing, looking at it and thinking, that's the way you should be doing it. You should be, if you've got a kid and you think he's got similarities with a player, then start shadowing that player. As I said, that should be...
City have sent Philip Sander, who's a really good Dutch centre-half, to Anderlecht. He's playing with Vincent Kompany every week. That's the best way you're going to get it.
I just don't get how you can look at two players and think they're similar. In Kapaman and Snarden. That's your first.
But when he goes, when he looks at it and goes, this is what I've got. Now, there's no walking outside the box thinking,
I agree.
No, I'd just go to Morgan, I'm sorry, Morgan, but you're not what I need. I want to play something different.
He knew for 5 months he was losing Ghana. He knew for 5 months.
He knew for 5 months Schneiderlin wasn't the
answer. Exactly.
He wanted to get rid of him.
So he knew for 5 months that he should have been prepping someone ready to go. Whether it was short term or long term, they should have been going. But well, if he goes, what happens if he'd gone and we couldn't have?
Then he's only now though, and Andre said this 2 weeks ago. He's only now getting back to fitness.
What about Dennis and Aaron?
I don't think he was ready. But again, having watched last night, I'm more impressed with him last night than I've seen him
last season or 6 months, ready for the summer. You go, let's bring him in.
Well, whatever you say, you can't have two players who play in the same.
I agree with you.
Don't stop giving me dirty looks.
I'm not giving any dirty looks. Listen,
This took a turn.
Schneidlin wouldn't be anywhere near
the magazine, of course.
any of my team ever.
You're lying. You made that Snidlin all 11. You got it. You wanted a Toffee TV t-shirt with I want a team. Remember when Liverpool had I dream of a team of Callaghan? You had one with I dream of a team of Snidlin.
Yeah,
but
that's
actually
only for when I'm laying in bed and I need to go to sleep and I just like watch them for 12 seconds. Just every pass, let's go. Like the game, the old Atari. That's what it'd be like, yeah.
I mean, I'm not old enough to remember. I mean,
of course.
I wasn't there when it was developed in the 60s.
Literally, Baz is
you literally even give me the name of it, but I haven't ever clue.
Because it's a classic.
Whatever.
It's pop culture.
I think we need
Guess
to go.
Guess what I downloaded last night for free?
Oh God, don't say it.
This could go many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's anything like your Instagram account, if it's
fair,
anything like his Instagram account, then please send me the link.
Everyone look at Ped follows on Instagram. Excellent
To be fair,
send me the link.
Like
Send me the link. Send me the link.
It's like a menu.
To be fair, it is me and Snoop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Snoop, I've got similar tastes.
Joe got us onto that. He was like, "Who follows that person?" Oh, Ped and Snoop. I mean, you know what I mean? When you think of it,
if you actually look at some of Snoop's videos, you know the ones that he can't show.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
The Last of Us. It's free on PS.
Is it? Yeah.
Get it, because Last of Us 2's coming out.
It's coming out soon.
That's emotional, totes emotion. Anyway, on that, Beningame and The Last of Us. What a combination. I mean, to be fair, we do have plenty of midfielders that are like zombies. Right, coming up in part 3, we'll be chatting about this weekend's must-win. I stress, must-win game.
6-pointer
against Burnley. We'll be right back. I've got gravel in my voice. Thanks for downloading the Toffee TV podcast, but did you know we put all our shows out as podcasts? Head over to patreon.com/Toffee TV EFC and you'll find all the latest shows available as podcasts exclusively for Patreon subscribers. So if you need to find all the latest Everton news, conversations, stats, match previews and match reviews as easily downloadable podcasts at your convenience, head over to Patreon. Welcome back to part 3 of the podcast with me, Sean.
What? Listen, I've just thought of a great. If you like Vicks, Sean Dyche is your dream guy, and you know, clear his throat, just a couple of lozenges.
I used to eat worms.
And gravel.
I've got a pumpkin after me. There you go. So
Maybe he's just constipated.
The last game.
Hey, this is the Owen Parks derby. If you know,
Owen Parks
loves
a bit of Dyche.
Sponsored by Gillette. This is a big game. Not only because Everton need a win, but it's just before that dreaded international break. And I, without having any stats in front of me or any proof of this, would say this is the time when most managers get sacked. I've got no proof of that. I've got no stats, but I'm thinking off the top of my head that this is probably the time most managers get sacked.
It's an opportunity for chairman, isn't it, to take stock. 8 games Saturday night will have been played. You kind of looking at it. Where are we? You've got that 2-week break. This is where Liverpool replaced Brendan Rodgers with Jurgen Klopp a few years ago.
That was a really bad decision for everyone, wasn't it? For everybody.
And if you remember,
Brendan had just lost all that weight and got his teeth on. Hands on.
This is
where he was always going in the ticket office for some reason as well.
Always.
I don't know why.
It was weird.
I don't know
why. And late nights in Melbourne, you just have a late night
busy
visitor.
man. No. It was Joe Allen. He was telling him how to play the pivot.
Was it?
He was telling him something.
I was saying he was
telling him something.
Because he does that thing with his fingers.
He
showed me, and I had to. I said, I don't want to know. Get me a ball.
Was that when he was with Chelsea? Oh no, he'd left. He'd left Chelsea by then.
His new wife the envelope saying she's going to let him down in the future, or he's going to let her down in the future.
Well, he was Chelsea Harding. Joe Allen and his
new wife. Whoa! Hang on. She wasn't his wife at that point. No, Chelsea Harding wasn't a real thing. Let's. That wasn't a real thing.
Really?
For the purpose of the legal. Lawyers and
allegedly.
All that.
That was just a made-up story.
Just a made-up story.
Made-up story.
Can you say in my opinion?
Well, if you say in my opinion, this is 10 years old, so maybe not apply to that.
I don't think it does apply.
Into journalism.
What if they say it on Facebook and they bring their granddads in it?
But if you're well, that's true. You know, people get Range Rovers off.
See my Range Rover, love? Yeah. Fancy a KP nut?
I mean, basically, it's just folklore. Old wives' tale.
But who's my old wife though?
Wouldn't have been old husband.
I know. I don't know.
Let's move on. I don't even know what we talk about.
I think we're talking about Burnley.
Oh, Burnley, gravelly mouth.
4-4-2.
No, it is obviously an opportunity for board members to look how their team has started. And
do you think board members would even come into it? Because I don't. I don't think board members would even be asked.
It'd just be fine.
It'd just be
what he's feeling.
the man on the boat.
But this is where Everton should have sacked
Ronald
Koeman at this international break, and he didn't. He left it and then ended up sacking him 2 weeks after it.
And it got
we did get beat, and it was very, very, very messy after that, and it ended up.
Was that just his appearance?
We ended up having the darkest day in our recent history with Sam Allardyce coming in.
So I don't think Marco's at that level. But if Everton were to lose at the weekend, that's 5 defeats in 6 games. That's worrying.
Do you know, people talk about managers, like, I'm not going against the whole who replace Marco thing, but I look at it and I you know, people got the names mentioned. You look at Arteta, he's not leaving Pep mid-season. So if people,
nope.
This is the issue. So who's available from Jose, which is a bad fit anyway. But
do we really want to have this conversation?
No, I'm not going to. But I'm going to say we don't need to expand on this. You don't need to expand on this, though. What I mean is, though, I don't think they'll get rid of him because I don't think that there's that available option. Rafa Benitez and shiny. You have to pay him to get out of his contract. It's 12 million, isn't it?
He wouldn't be bothered. He'd walk. But the problem is the thing. Well, I think with that, I think that apparently. There's the Al Santa in his contract.
Hang on.
Benitez.
Well, you've started it, so we might as well finish. Would you have Rafa Benitez?
On a footballing level, maybe. On a personal level, they wouldn't have wanted Howard Kendall in the 80s if he got offered as manager. We wouldn't have wanted Kenny.
Right.
It's the same. Why would he do that?
I'm staying neutral in this, right? Don't you think that if he came to us and did a good job, that would annoy them?
Yes, no, I'm not really bothered.
If we, know what I mean? Like, if we're putting the arm around them.
You're bothered about them.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong way.
No,
I
am, because I think this is where this is key. And you've mentioned this before. The fans as a whole need to get behind the manager. Would they get? Nobody do.
Nobody.
There's no. Well,
there's nobody.
This would be like that story we heard before. They'd all start following Rafa again on Facebook, and they'd all be trying to check on what he's doing, and they'd all be dropping bitchy comments when he's doing better for himself in life, you know, with his new club.
Yeah.
And I think that might benefit us. I think Rafa, right, we're on the subject, we might as well talk about it for 2 minutes. He's the type of fella who couldn't care less and will take emotion out of it and just do the job he's asked to do. And maybe for once, as fans, we just need to do that.
Do the same
if
thing.
If it came to that, I'm not saying it would come to that, and I'm not sure Mercedes even looking in that direction.
All I would say
although that's where the boats park. So.
Yeah. The thing with Benitez is he's a very good manager. He can't get away from it. What he done with Newcastle is arguably even better than what he's done at any other club, because they are an awful football side.
Funny enough, he believes in tactics. Steve Bruce doesn't, so maybe that's the issue.
So there you go. But even away from Benitez, even if they did decide, the thing with Marco, the problem he'll have is, you're right about Arteta. Apparently he doesn't want to leave City mid-season. What he says, and if it's a big... Listen, if there's a fat wedge on the table and the keys to the kingdom, you don't know, right? But what I would say is, say he doesn't want to leave, right? And Everton we're still struggling at Christmas, and people are like, this fella can't do it. And Mercedes looking and going, I'll just give you another 100-odd million and you still can't do it. What did he do? Because if he's going to pull up... I don't think Marco Silva survives this season regardless. I don't. And I'm someone who backs him, right? I don't particularly I don't want him to lose his job. I want him to turn it around so that we're good, right? But I don't believe that he can do whatever and not be sacked this season, right? So, if it comes to the season where they look and go, we need to cut here because we're not making any progress, blah, 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 this fella's available. If it's not Arteta, right? And who's to say, I don't know, if Everton went to him, he might come, I don't know. But if it wasn't Arteta, then I don't know whether there's anyone out there anyway who people will get behind. So it goes back to what you're saying before. We all have to be behind the manager, right? But if Mourinho got it, a lot will be behind him, but there'll be a section who don't want him. Benitez, there'll probably be a split of half and half, I would suggest. People would go, you know what, maybe we just forget about that because he's actually someone who could develop us, get us up here. I don't know. But then after them two, Allegri's one who I think is
very good tactical,
amazing, but I don't know whether he'd consider us. I don't know. But enough money, you never know, right? But then you've got a language issue and stuff like that, how good he is that way. So after them three, mate, you start scraping the barrel going, there'll be flips with Eddie Howe and stuff like no. So that's what I'm saying. So, but reality is, I hope Marco just goes.
100% hope.
On your Rafa point though, what is Rafa known for doing when he walk? What does happen? What happens?
Source the defence out immediately.
Right. No. Okay. Forget the pitch because he's a fantastic coach. Right.
Yeah.
Him and Brands is an absolute disaster waiting to happen because look at what he does. Every club he goes to, he ends up in an argument with the board and he turns the fans on the board. Every club, Liverpool.
That wouldn't happen at Everton. No one would go.
If he never got the players he wanted, because Brands is on that show.
At Newcastle,
Newcastle,
he didn't give him anything, did he? Like, they give him virtually nothing.
He spent some money.
Almiron was the record sign at 20 million. We give that to lads who aren't even going to play for us.
True.
Right? So therefore, if you said to Benitez, you're getting 100 million every summer, which is essentially now what Everton kind of spend, because they can also recoup. I think he'd be made up with that. I do, and I think he'd go, yeah, all right.
But would he subscribe to the same philosophy as Marcel?
Then he wouldn't get the job.
He wouldn't get the job, though, would he?
That's what I say.
He wouldn't get the job.
That's the problem. Exactly, and that's why Rafa is not maybe.
Yeah.
Don't be wrong. If you just said Rafa Benitez as a football manager, yes, fantastic. You've got to look at his receiver.
I think he'd have Everton. I honestly think he'd run Everton very close to Champions League. Definitely.
Yeah, I think he would. I agree with you. I just think it just doesn't fit, and that's the problem.
No, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
No,
there's a lot of reasons why it wouldn't fit.
But I could say that on every manager, though. So that's not just Rafa Benitez. I could say about Mourinho.
Yeah.
I could say everyone knows I like Marcel, but you could say he's never managed in Europe. There's every manager's questions about every single one.
Don't you think that a lot of managers now are going to have to get used to having a director of football? And
yes.
Mourinho said himself he would have loved a director of football at Man United.
One that subserved him, that's the difference.
But I think Brands is the kind of fella that if he's seen benefit in it, Brands is not shouting his head off all over the gaff. He's not,
But I think
two things. I think
you can't afford to come in and go, I don't like to send
no, but then that's what I'm saying.
Two things I think with Brands. One, he commands respect.
Yes.
I do. And two, you've said it many times, he's not afraid to buy a 28-year-old if he thinks he'll improve the team, which is what Mourinho likes to do, and Benitez to a lesser extent. But what I would say is put that to one side, because that's not the thing. Marco Silva, we've got 3 games now. We've got Burnley away the weekend, and we've got the break. We've got West Ham at home and Brighton away. There's an opportunity there for 9 points for Marco Silva for Everton. Definitely 7 out of those 3 games. If Everton were to get 9 points, everyone then starts going, hang on, we're 4 points off Champions League places here. Can we now hang in there? And if he does that, Gomez is back. After this international break, I'm guessing Gabaman's probably only about 3 or 4 weeks away. Yeah. So all of a sudden, things might start to look a little bit rosy, but it has to start at the weekend.
I think it'll be the next international break for Gabaman. I don't think he's going to play in this patch. But no,
we're getting closer.
At the end of the day, this is Burnley have had an all right start to the season, but they're probably happy where they are. 2-2 last week. They're going to be dangerous. They're going to look at all our weaknesses and go after them. And it's up to the players this week to be strong and do what we did last season when we went there. I remember last season we just come off the back of 6-2 defeat to Spurs, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is a horrible one. This Boxing Day in Burnley, no one fancies this." Straight in. 1-0 up after 3 minutes. After 20 minutes, we were 3-0 up. We just went at them, and Baines was brilliant. And it's got to be the same, hasn't it? You've got to go with the attitude of, no, we're afraid and we're going to cower because we've been poor. Last season, think of the form we went into when we played Burnley last season. We were in an awful form. Absolutely terrible
form.
Well,
that day he played 3 centre-backs, didn't he? Luca Dean scored.
Well, it worked because
Charleston was on the bench, came on.
Charleston was sub. He had Calvert-Lewin, Bernard and Walcott up front, like high. What was weird about that game? They played a 3, a proper 3.
3-4-3,
and Dean was flying, Coleman, and all of a sudden we were like, they couldn't handle us.
No.
He came off the bench, didn't he? Richarlison, Sigurdsson slides him in, he scored. We could have had 8 or 9 that day. And we just blitzed them, you're right. We done what Liverpool tend to do, and City get it won very quickly if you can. That's what we did this season. That's why I'm saying it's like you've had the chalkboard with the formula that works, and someone's come in and gone, rubbed it off, and they're all looking again and going, what do we do again? We pass it dead slow around the back, and we don't go nowhere. And I think for the weekend, it has to be the reset
up
button. Almost, it does have to be up and at him, but it also has to be. It also has to be mixed up, and I mean mixed up with the midfield. The makeup of the midfield for me needs to change. If it's Schneiderlin and Delph, then for me we're just going to be.
But it's going to go over their heads anyway, isn't it? I mean, that's why that's why Schneiderlin's going to play anyway. You need his height.
I can tell you now, they'll play.
Yeah, he will, because you need his height. I mean, that's the way
Bernard won't play either because he'll go, he's too small. I think that, honestly, this is the type of thing that I've come to expect.
But he played there last year and destroyed them.
No,
I don't buy into this with Silva, and people go, no, he's dead stubborn. I don't think he is. Bernard plays. He's not afraid to drop anybody.
I think he might play Bernard. I think he'll play. I think he'll play Schneiderlin.
He's never dropped two players for number.
He took Richarlison is basically his long lost son. He dropped him about 6 times last season. He took away no problem.
He found them.
Yeah.
But Sigurdsson never gets dropped, does he? With the goals.
See, he's the one Saturday where you'd go.
See, I think he might be out.
You'd say to him, wouldn't you go, this is not a game for you.
I'd love him to say it, but I don't see it happening.
No, listen.
You're so defeatist.
Do you know what? I just want to see something. I'm desperate. If he played there at the back, I'd go, that's not probably the best idea, but I'd go, well, at least he's trying something. And the fans would go, he's trying something. If it didn't work, they go, at least he's now trying to change it.
Yeah,
but until he doesn't change it, it's going to be like, why is he still doing this?
I think you're right. I think if he did mix it up, I think fans would go, yeah, all right, he's having a go. Fair enough, it's not the same old. I think when managers get into that mode, and when fans get into that mode about their managers, generally it doesn't end well.
No, it doesn't,
because people are prejudge everything. Whereas if you got the team sheet Saturday and it was like midfield, go on now, he's got Delph, Davis and Iwobi in midfield there. Bloody hell, he's gone something different, isn't he? This looks all right, this or whatever. Or Iwobi's in and Sigurdsson's out, or hell, he's gone McKean, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up against it. People would be like, I'm right behind this now. Where if it's Delph, Schneiderlin, Sigurdsson, you start going, same again.
Can he play?
No, he won't play.
He can play, can he? Walcott can't play.
Pushing protocol.
They said they've given the green light to train. Thursday he can train.
I thought you couldn't play for 3 weeks.
No, he's not. He wasn't concussed. Apparently, not full. Well, apparently, he can train and he can be considered for the weekend. But yeah, I thought it's weird. But if he'd done that and mixed it up, I think everybody would go, all right, yeah, let's have a look at this. Let's see if this is different, and let's get behind it. It's if he does continue to stick with the same personnel, same formation,
then the writing starts to come on the wall. But if he changes it, and then you go, all right, let's see how it goes. And then you go, okay, it's not working at the moment. We can see the thing. And then when Gabama and Gomez come back, that's when you start going, okay, he's got a plan here. Until we see the plan and we start buying into the plan, then we can't expect.
See, I imagine Dyche will be planning for Delph Sigurdsson, and Schneiderlin in midfield. He gets the team sheet at 2:00, and it's Iwobi, Davis.
They can't plan for that.
All of a sudden, it's like, right, okay, they might be right. Hang on, we're going to have to see how this goes, boys, because it's totally different. Yeah. Sometimes that's all you need to get that little edge, and it helps you. Listen, it might not work, and people might go, "No, you can't," because they leave. But they can.
I'll be honest. More of an edge would be nice to see the players come out the traps and fly at them. Do you know what I mean? Wherever the personnel is, it'd just be nice to see the players.
Game, no, we're going to see control again, and that's. Yeah. And
we'll have 65% possession.
But that's when it becomes too comfortable.
But the problem with a game like this is that you're absolutely right. We will have loads of the ball, and then they'll just pump a long ball up, and then they'll be
one-on-one with the defender.
So that's why, for me, and I have defended him to the hilt, the manager. But I'll be critical of him if he goes with Delph and Schneiderlin, because what we need more than anything, if he went with Delph and Schneiderlin and Iwobi, I'd go, all right, he's trying to keep the back door shut. Fair enough, let's see.
Because at least,
right? But if he goes with the same 3, I will be critical, because this is a game, like we said before. This to me is like the Chef Webb game. We need midfield runners in beyond their centre-backs to make it uncomfortable for them. They'll be made up if we do what we did against Sheffield United and have everyone, the big banks, big split in the team. We can just let everything away, no worries. They'll be chill, eating worms and gravel at half time at Sean. But if we had midfielders who were buzzing and running beyond our centre forward, it caused these problems, I think. Whereas if we just stick to what we do and we have 65% of the ball, 600 passes, 51 crosses, they'll be like that all day long. Unless we get a lucky break and we get a goal and we build from it and we win the game. But I just think if he done something a bit different this week, it'd give me so much more belief in everything.
How many people do you think, if we were to lose the game, would just say that's it?
I think a lot. I'm going to be honest. I think there's still people out there who still believe in it, but I think another defeat and things change no matter what you think.
5 defeats in 8 games when you've only played Man City, really.
Yeah. 5
defeats in the last 6 games.
So then you have to make those points up elsewhere.
Haven't spent a lot of money. That might be enough for some people. I don't know.
And also from Brand's perspective, he's got a project he's doing. He's not going to get he's not going to go. He's going to need someone to see his project through. Otherwise, he's going to have to start all again. So, and then she's going to ask a question of Brand's of why you spent all this money and why that's not get any further. And so Brand's going to have to make a decision whether Marco's the right man.
I'll be honest though. I hope it's not a decision that it's just snap decision. I don't want.
I'm going to be honest.
I don't want
clubs keep shortlists to managers, or good clubs keep shortlists to managers. So we should have. I don't know if Everton do.
No, I know.
We did last time.
I do not want that at all. I do not want a snap decision. If the decision's made, I hope it's already been well thought out and there's actually someone ready to
speak to someone's agent.
Yeah, because that's just, again, if you're going to put someone in, I know we've got more time this time if it was this weekend, but just go and win the game.
Just win the next 3. The next 3 are winnable.
You're not bothered.
Win this game first.
1-0. Off McParland's elbow or something, whatever.
I don't care. An own goal will do me. At Liverpool last week, I miss it and the keeper throws it in his net. I don't care. Win the game. Get into this international break.
Put it this way.
Reset.
This isn't a game where you can come out and go, at least we had the goal. This is Burnley away. I'm sorry, but
we have to win the game.
This is a game that you're going to be judged. It's
points.
Yeah.
Get into double figures by the weekend and you go, all right, let's start looking up the table with 5 points, whatever, off Europe. We can build from that point. If we lose again at the weekend and we're in the bottom 3 and we're all of a sudden we're 10 points behind Leicester, you start going, how are we miles behind them? And then that you do then have to look at the managing, you have to look at the players and you have to go, do we really want to just write the season off in October and go, well, we're best we can hope for top 10 when we keep spending money and we keep saying it's 6th? We see Minshall in Switzerland and he said this season we have to win. I don't know whether he's going to sit on his hands.
No, exactly.
But it's up to us now and it's up to the manager and the players to get out Saturday. They're much better than Burnley on paper. Go and prove it on grass.
They're a lot better than a lot of teams on paper. But
no, well, that's what it's stand up and be counted now, isn't it?
It is.
That's what it is.
It is. There you go.
Somber end to the show.
It's not. It's a rallying call. Go win.
Come on,
game.
Win the game.
Go win the game.
Send us in.
This is Ton.
Send us in to the international break. The last one we beat Wolves when we went into it, and we went into that break on a high. Let's do the same again. Let's get the win, and then we can have 2 weeks of resetting before West Ham or before they turn up and we just go, get in, Pellegrini. 7-0.
He's a zombie, Pellegrini.
Jagalenko. Anyway, let's leave it there. Good show, as always.
Great show, that.
Great show. Got into it.
23s.
Piv got all his frustrations out.
Pived it off there. His dad will be so proud.
Oh.
Not if we don't get Brexit.
Even granddads will get involved on Facebook with that.
Maybe they will. There you go. Thank you for listening. As ever, if you want more podcasts and more shows, get over on Patreon where you can see this show as a video. It's incredible. Loads of hand movements.
Oh, hand movements. Incredible.
And a lot more. And we have loads more podcasts over there as well. So check that out on Patreon. Thanks for listening to the podcast. However you're listening to it, don't forget it's on iTunes and Podbean and Stitcher. Whatever suits you, this podcast is available. There you go. It's not
tell your friends.
Good reviews, thumbs, a couple of reviews. We'll give that 1-star review.
Who give it 1 star?
We know bitters, mate. Don't worry about the bitters.
There you go. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, hopefully in a happy mood. See you then.
Arrivederci.